The X and Y series of the Pokémon anime had a lot to be desired on the tail end of its broadcasting. Its ending either irked fans at best or infuriating the community at worst. Had the Sun and Moon saga began in April 2017 with the release on Nintendo Switch, perhaps this saga could have had at least 20 more extra episodes. Or maybe if it was released in November with the Ultra content as DLC, perhaps X and Y could have had a 4th season, like how Diamond and Pearl had Sinnoh League Victors and Advanced Generation had the Battle Frontier. And this is what I'm here to talk about today. What if the ending of the Kalos saga wasn't as rushed or corporate mandating as it used to be? Greetings trainers, KuroBlitz here, and welcome back to another video. With the content of Pokémon Legends EA in the horizon of the franchise, I would like to give you what if the 4th saga of Pokémon was given to the X and Y series? What if we had an X, Y, and Z 2 in some way? Make sure to like it and stay tuned for the video, and I really hope you enjoy what's brought back to the region of Kalos. Our series starts with Ash arriving to Pallet Town yet again, and he meets his mother Delia as well as Professor Oak. He does receive a letter of invitation and challenge by none other than the champion of the Kalos region, the magnificent superstar Diantha. Diantha invites Ash for what is known as the Chateau Challenge, a great exhibition tournament for all of the participants of the Kalos region and abroad to participate in order to basically have a chance to fight her on a 6v6 match. It's a different tournament similar to the league that also has Ash to basically have to gather a lot of ribbons to partake into the count. Each ribbon classifying as one of the noble ranks of the Battle Chateau Challenge, and the 7th one being the one to give his right to battle Diantha. If he wins her, he will be honored with the Badge of the Honor of Kalos, being something of a challenge similar to that of the Battle Frontier, which has Ash excited and he wants to rotate all of his Pokémon during this time. While leaving Pallet Town, he does meet Team Rocket but easily disbands them, and he makes sure that he are not being tackled by when Ash goes to Kalos. He makes sure that these hooligans are not going to tail him during the great adventure. Going back to the region of Kalos, Ash arrives at the city of Lumiose, where he meets Alain, who had just now returned from the Great Galar region after the World Tournament and his loss to Leon. Alain decided to now become stronger and decide to tackle new avenues of combat, to the point where he trained his Mega Evolution against other mechanics. He did battle all the gym leaders of the Galar region in Dynamax fashion battles, and now he's strong enough to basically challenge himself and now being one of the opponents that Ash has to face in this Chateau Challenge of the Kalos region. But he's not the only member that Ash has the pleasure to meet, as there are more participants coming from all over the world, some familiar faces, some are not. From the Johto region we see the powerful trainer by the name of Orlando from Olivine City, one of the prodigies in the local battle tower, and from Alola we do see Ilima, one of the pupils from the Melemele school and a very acquaintance of Ash who had partaken in this league prior similar to him. As the opponents continue to show up, we see two powerful trainers, Xenia, the Draconid of the Hoenn region, and Shauna, one of Serena's former rivals who decided to participate in contests to the Sinnoh region. And we see two more trainers, students, rivals even, from the infamous academies of Blueberry in Unova and Violet in Paldea, those being of Lacey and Nemona, the daughter of Gym Leader Clay and the champion ranked trainer under the apprenticeship of chairwoman Geeta. Several trainers from several regions, all taking a portion of the world with them as representative, and this makes Ash extremely excited to see where does this Chateau Challenge will lead him, as the journey is now yet to continue. And as it does, Ash now goes to the south of Lumiose City, reaching the city of Santaloon, where he meets Serena and they have a long time discussion. After that, he meets Professor Sycamore, who is introducing Ash and Serena to his new star pupils and his researchers who had just arrived from Alola region, so it seems, those being Osina and Dexio. Both couples complement each other and they decide to continue on with having a battle just to see how much stronger they have gotten over the passage of time. Sina sends out her cold Pokémon, that being of Glaceon, as wintry as the moon, while Dexio sends out his warm Pokémon of Espeon as burning bright as the sun. And with this, Serena decides to call her Evolution 2, that being Sylveon. With Ash lacking one, it decides to go with another Pokémon that really shows his emotions, that being of Bayleaf. Bayleaf feels a bit distraught by Serena, but she's excited to battle alongside Ash, revealing her new move, that being Return, a move that causes more damage the more a Pokémon has friendship with their trainer. Needless to say, this battle really opened the eyes to both Ash and Serena, as well as Sina and Dexio. Sycamore's newest assistants return to Lumiose to help him aid in Mega Evolution research energy again, while Serena does decide to go with Ash for a little while, inspiring all trainers with her showcasing appeals. As they continue to go to the south of the region, they finally arrive to the city of Aquacourt. This has been a place that Ash has never visited during his Kalos run. And as it continues, they do meet their friends Shauna and Tierno. Tierno is very excited to re-see Serena again, however, much to his chagrin, she really dismisses his approaches. However, Ash is here to battle Shauna instead. Battling rival is something extremely unorthodox for him, but he did something similar while he was in the Unova region. And with that, Shauna reveals her Pokémon. During this battle for the Baron Ribbon, Ash needs to basically use two Pokémon on a doubles format. Shauna reveals her Gothitelle and her Mega Venusaur, while Ash reveals his Totodile and his shiny Noctowl. Totodile and Noctowl do a similar strategy to that of what Corphish and Swallow did against Tucker from the Kanto Battle Frontier. Totodile has Dark and Ice moves that are able to easily help and defeat both Gothitelle and Venusaur, and Noctowl, having a lot of moves at its disposal, it's able to easily orient Venusaur into defeat with its flying techniques. However, this Pokémon now has two new moves, those being of Heat Wave and Moonblast, extremely instrumental to the battle. This giving Ash the win against Shauna and finally getting the first of the 7 ribbons needed, though being the Baron class ribbon. Ash had already become a Baron while visiting the Chateau, however, he really needed to cement himself in this challenge, and defeating Shauna is only one of those further steps. Continuing on their adventure, they decide to head to West, where Ash meets a lot of people. Ash and Serena do re-meet with Alexa, and he also sees in the Parfum Palace the likes of Gary and Tracy, who are visiting him for the time being just to make sure that he's okay, given how during his Kalos original run he didn't really connect much to Professor Oak and Delia, so they want to make sure that his challenge is going fine. And it does. They go to their own corner where Alexa and Tracy talk about photography and sketching, and Gary does re-meet Serena from the summer camp and decides to tease her a little bit when it comes to her affection towards Ash. However, much to his surprise, she's not really flustered by that anymore. But that leads to Ash talking with a great figure of the Parfum Palace, that being the former king of Kalos by the name of AZ. AZ thanks Ash for his help during the X and Y crisis of Team Flare because he wasn't in Kalos for the time being, he was in the region by the name of Paldea. Both powerful trainers decide to catch up, and then they see a very powerful Pokémon shading the color of blue as they do meet it, and they do realize that this Pokémon is not other than the legendary Xerneas, the fairy type of life. This Pokémon is now in its inactive form, and this is where Trevor shows up, being able to snag a picture of this Pokémon and then give it to Alexa, his now superior of the Lumiose Press Journal. King AZ does tell the young man to not make the news public or to not show it to any newspapers because Xerneas is here to basically supervise the king and also to make sure that Ash's run is going safe. Ash does realize that Xerneas is a very powerful Pokémon, and being imbued with the power of life, it's something that he really needs to make sure, and it revigorates himself to this Chateau challenge once again. As the journey continues, Ash and Serena do arrive to the city of Comfrey, where Ash does re-meet Helima, and Helima is now accompanied by one of his students of the Melee school, that being the prodigal trainer of Celine, a Cantonian just like Ash, who is now doing the Island Challenge while Ash is absent, and she wants to challenge him for the league title of the Alola champion once the Manalo conference is yet to be resumed. Ash is very excited for this, and he wishes Celine great luck, but now his battle is with Helima himself. They never really had the chance to do it because of Team Skull and the league brackets not really allowing it, but now Ash has a chance of having a double battle with Helima, and one to earn the Viscount ribbon. This has Helima send out his Mega Kangaskhan as well as his Smeargle, and this has Ash send out his two powerful Sinnoh starters of Infernape and Torterra. Ash easily defeats Helima by doing such a powerful combination known as Flare Storm. The practicalities of Flare Storm are very unique but easy to grasp. Infernape, being a monkey, hides on Torterra's tree. He ignites himself by using the move Flare Blitz, while Torterra uses the move Leaf Storm, creating a powerful storm of radiating blue fired leaves that attack the opponents from the distance. Leaf Storm, being warmed up by the blaze of Infernape, doesn't have a recoil in terms of stat drops, and neither does Infernape's Flare Blitz when it comes to HP, because the move doesn't directly connect to that of the opponent. This is a very powerful synergy that Ash is displaying during his stay in Kalos. As the adventures are now continuing, Ash and Serena do meet Sycamore along with his researchers yet again on Glittering Cave. Serena does realize that they have never been to this place in Kalos once before. They do re-meet Alexa here during their time when they were seeing all of the observatory in Umbret Town because of Auroras, but because this place had to be, crossed over by Rhyhorn Racing, she avoided to going here, and there was not near as close to the Salad Gym. After a meeting with Sycamore as well as his assistant, they decide to have a battle yet again, with Cena and Dexio showing to Ash and Serena that they are experts on both the Ice and the Psychic type, by sending out their Delibird and Oranguru. And with this, Serena decides to call out for Pancham, wanting to out-brawn the brains of Oranguru, while Ash wants to taunt out the Ice of Delibird with its own powerful fire type, that being Quilava. This has been a great fight where both trainers are able to handle their own, and they are always showing their best when it comes to synergy as well as trainer tactics, that being in both Pokemon battling as well as couples affair. Returning to the city of Umbret, Ash and Serena do re-meet with May. May does talk about Ash during her affairs with Serena in terms of contest spectaculars in the Hoenn region, and they are very flattered, and all of these kids and friends also reconnect during the time being. However, it is cut short by having the member of the Chateau challenge by the name of Orlando. Orlando, it's revealed to have been once a neighbor of May, but now he's a researcher for Professor Birch, and he also wants to study Pokemon environments and habitats, and also challenge Ash for the ribbon of the Earl rank, which Ash accepts, and this is going to be a 3v3 battle this time around, with Orlando sending out Aggron, Shiftry, and Mega Swampert, and Ash plays in the same coin by releasing his 3 Pokemon too, of Scraggy, Swallow, and Glalie. Scraggy is able to basically defeat Aggron with relative ease, not only when it comes to fighting expertise to the ground and steel Pokemon, rock and steel, sorry, as these both draconic lizards give it their all, as well is basically able to outspeed the Tangle-like Pokemon of Shiftry by riding the winds with extremely care. This leaves to Glalie to basically outplay the great and powerful Pokemon in this Mega Swampert. Freeze Dry does squad damage on this behemoth without the even need to Mega Evolve. This is a very great display for Ash, as he's able to defeat Orlando and reconnect with Serena and May alike during this time. And with this, Ash is able to get his Earl rank ribbon. During this, May wants to return to Hoenn, and she invites Serena for a short while, and she does, going back to Lily Cove Dome yet again, while Ash decides to just wait a little while longer because there is something that he really needs to research. those being the manure trails above, which Serena then conforms. She tells May to go her merry way and she will follow her right after. As the journey continues, we do see Ash and Serena re-meeting with King AZ, who is analyzing all of the manures of the trail, talking about Ash, about the ultimate weapon and the great Kalos War. And with this, we do see Xerneas re-emerge. Now it's in active form, trying to praise both Ash and Serena for their aptitude as trainers. After this, we do see the return of both Corina and Steven Stone, who are mesmerized not only by the Mega Evolution tales of the former King AZ, as well as the powerful life form that is the legendary Pokémon Xerneas. With this, Xerneas decides to leave for the time being, but they are very happy that Ash is doing his challenge amazingly. And with this, both parties decide to go their merry way. Ash leaves Serena as he decides to talk with AZ for the time being, but also getting reconnected a little bit with both Steven and Corina. Going to Geosange and learning more about the ultimate weapon, this is where Ash meets the powerful Draconid Zinnia, and he also hears tales about the Mega Evolution of Pokémon. As the story yet continues, this is where Ash decides to battle Zinnia for the ribbon of the Marquise rank title. And so he does. Zinnia sends out her 3 powerful Pokémon in Tyrantrum, Exploud, and Mega Salamence. Ash decides to counter Tyrantrum with his powerful Leavanny, as the bug-type Pokémon does massive grass damage to the T-Rex itself. And as for Exploud not being a dragon type but being draconic enough, this is where Ash decides to go with the same coin and using Crocodile to deal with the sound Pokémon. And this leads to his Unpheasant to deal massive aerial damage and also amazing aerial combat to the likes of Mega Salamence. And she does win by using a lot of moves such as Night Slash, Detect, and even Heat Wave. Like, Unpheasant is now a massive beast during her training and development, now being able to defeat a mega powerful evolution Pokemon. This does give Zinnia some thinking and clarification to do, and she's very happy that Ash is now being, also on par with her, as well as Alain and the other trainers, and she does tell Ash that maybe he should allow himself to train Mega Evolution Pokemon that are not just with his Lucario. He does consider the option, and then he goes on a training arc for a while after getting the ribbon of the Marquise rank. Returning to Lumiose City yet again, Ash reunites with his buddy Clement. However, there is something that it feels extremely off. The Malamar from the future are attacking the city, now on a larger scale, being led by a shiny species that is controlling a young girl that was once left orphaned in the station of Lumiose. That girl, by the name of Emma, was once an understudy of the International Police Looker, but she's now grasped by the Essentia costume, an invention of the Team Flare admin and scientist Zero-Sick. Now being controlled by this future Malamar, this is a great crisis like no other. This has on the same level that has been with the Zygarde of Team Flare, but now the police of Lumiose are prepared for these kinds of troubles. Ash and Clement are united and aligned with the likes of his peers, that being of Alexa, Marin, Bonnie, Sycamore, and all of the other Pokemon. They are making sure that Emma is free and the Malamar are no more of a threat. And this is where Ash decides to reveal his trump card, and so does Clement, by revealing their Mega Evolved Pokemon of Charizard Y and the Aerodactyl, respectively. This does surprise Ash and Clement alike, but they realize that there is more than meets the eye. And with this, they are able to save Emma from the Essential costume, and they are able to defeat Malamar from the future. They are going, and the idea for the ultimate weapon is no more. However, Mayor Clement's dad, on the adornment of Blaziken Mask, does realize that Emma has the potential to be a super heroine just like him, and he takes her under his wing, basically adopting her as Clement and Bonnie's newest sister. Sycamore loves the idea. He even talks about how both his researchers would like to one day be superheroes too. It seems like Kalos is not shortage of, their prodigal experts in order to save the region. But now, that Ash is on the midway point of his challenge, he needs to become stronger. He needs to make sure that he's able to utilize Mega Evolution to the fullest display. And this is where Clement comes into the play, as he decides to train his Pokémon with Clement before he continues on his Chateau challenge journey. Clement reveals himself to Ash to not just be an electric type gym leader anymore, but yes, a powerful tower tycoon who specializes on the status condition of paralysis. All of his Pokémon are able to do some increasing damage in one way or the other. His notorious Luxray with the powerful electric moves, it's a no-brainer, however it's his two other Pokémon and his additions that are catching Ash off guard. Diggersby had already learned Wild Charge as a Bunnelby, but now it's able to learn the move Bounce to cause a lot of paralysis to the opponents, and the same goes with the little Chespin now being a powerful behemoth and a powerhouse in Chestnut, learning the paralysis-inducing moves of Thunder Punch and Body Slam, using their weight and momentum to their advantage. But this is where things get tricky for our young Ketchum boy, as we do see Clement utilizing an Alakazam, a very powerful and tactician and knowledgeable Pokémon just like himself. Alakazam is able to use moves such as Thunder Wave and Tri-Attack, both moves that are able to cause paralysis. However, the powerful Psychic Pokémon, imbued in Amber Yellow colored, it's able to use a move by the name of Zap Cannon, a gamble, a 50-50 coin slip that if it hits, it's going always to paralyze the opponent. And this reveals Clement's other two Pokémon to Ash, a Druddigon, a Lumiose Gargoyle from the Kalos region, and this Pokémon has a lot of moves to paralyze. From Charge Beam, yes, Charge Beam, a projectile, as well as Glare, Serpent Sigh, has one sight and you're locked in. As for Mega Aerodactyl, this Pokémon is also able to cause these paralysis-inducing moves, those being of Thunder Fang as well as Dragon Breath. Clement has become a very powerful frontier brain level trainer. He's even sparred with the Elite Force from time to time, and it makes Bonnie very proud and Ash very amazed by his friend, and the training arc could have never been better for Ash, and this is where his challenge will continue on. Leaving Lumio City and now returning to Brunway, Ash does re-meet Serena and also Sycamore and his assistants, and they decide to have another sparring match yet again. Serena sends out her Delphox, with Ash igniting the same level of firepower with his own Pignite, and this leads to Cena and Dexio to utilize their Jinx and Slowking. This is very powerful, it's a great match between both trainers. They do realize that Jinx and Slowking may also have the potential to Mega Evolve, however their stones might be lost to time. But this doesn't falter the young trainers and researchers in the slightest, as they both continue their own individual separate journeys, until they are reunited once again. As this all continues, Ash arrives to the city of Dandemil Town, the first place where Serena won one of her showcase keys. And this is where Ash meets the prodigal trainer of Lacey, one of the Elite Four members of the League Club of Blueberry Academy of the Unova region, the daughter of Clay, a fairy-type expert no less. She congratulates Ash on his attributes and all of his feats, as well as being now the champion of champions, the world monarch, and she decides to test him on the same level with all of his Pokémon, this being the first time ever that Ash does a doubles format 4v4, and he's very excited for this. He wants to see if he can get the Duke rank ribbon from Lacey. As the tournament goes on, they re-meet each other in the finals, and Lacey is utilizing her 4 Pokémon, those being a Valcremie, Primarina, Gramble, and Excadrill. This Excadrill being able to terrestrialize into a Fairy type when it needs to be. However, Ash decides to send out his own Fairy type too, that being of Mr. Mime. Yes, Mimey is going to be battleable in this. It's a Journeys Pokémon, but it never really was in the World Coronation series, and this is where Ash reveals his other team members, those being of Lucario, Dragonite, and Gengar. Gengar being another Pokémon that it's now able to Mega Evolve thanks to the advice of Zinnia and the training of Clement, and this is where Ash does defeat Lacey, getting his 5th ribbon in the Chateau challenge. And this is where the story is going to continue to a screeching halt, as Ash is now arriving to the N-Star Sundial and he does re-meet King AZ once more. As Ash re-meets with AZ, AZ sympathizes more with the young boy, even calling him Prince affectionately. AZ does tell Ash about the war and all of its other ramifications in more detail, and also how he lost his partner Pokémon of Floette, reminiscing Ash a lot of how he would feel if he had lost Pikachu. King AZ wants to train his resolve and he decides to challenge Ash to a battle, to which Ash then remarks and he decides to go with it as well. Ash sends out his other two members of his World Coronation Series team, that being of Sirfetch'd and Dracovish, with AZ sending out his two Royal Starter Pokémon of Empoleon and Serperior. This has been a great fight, and after a long while they decide to halt it for the time being. And with this, two powerful creatures show up to the Sundial, that being Primal Xerneas and Ash's Greninja in their Battle Bond form. This has been something staggering to look at. Ash had no idea that Xerneas was able to reach a primal state. He considered the idea of Mega Evolution because of their fairy aura, but it seems like this Pokemon can even reach greater heights to that of Groudon and Kyogre. And re-meeting his Greninja has been a great sight to deal with it too. And Greninja decides to join Ash's team yet again after the proclamation that he had helped Zygarde and also Xerneas for a short while. And AZ gives them their blessing before they continue their journey yet again. And as it continues, Ash arrives to the town of Koroway, famous for their waterfalls and the train stations alike, a great place for them to be. Nearby Zygarde's Terminus Cave, and this explains why Greninja was able to reunite with him yet again. As they continue, they do connect with a trainer by the name of Nemona, a champion-ranked Pokemon trainer who inhabits and lives in the region of Paldea, and she learned of Ash's accolades during all over the world, and she wants to one day spar him as an equal, and she feels like the day is today, going for a battle, yet another 2 double battles. They do have a 4v4 in this doubles format, and Ash is very excited to see how things turn around, because after this he will only need one more ribbon to have the right to challenge Diantha. And this is going to be the battle where Ash wants to decide to see if he can get the Grand Duke ribbon, the rank that once Grant got by defeating Viola in the Battle Chateau. Both trainers continue, as Nemona sends out her 3 starter Pokemon from Paldea to Ash get acquainted with, those being of Meowscarada, Skeledirge and Quaquaval, and she sends out her final Pokemon, that being an evolution of Dunsparce, the Dunsparce. Ash is very amazed to see this, and he sends out his 4 Pokemon that helped him gain the title of Alola champion during his days in the Tropical Archipelago, those being of Rowlet, Incineroar, Lycanroc and Melmetal. Rowlet is able to have a bird duel with Quaquaval, while the Dark-type Pokemon Cat Felines, those being of Incineroar and Meowscarada, are giving their all too. And this leads to the powerful Skeledirge being able to fight against the likes of Lycanroc, a volcanic crocodile, against the powerful Pebble Wolf. And this leads to the 2 spiral Pokemon of the Dunsparce and Melmetal being the locking key, like the deciding factor of this match, and Melmetal is able to win and defeat the Dunsparce for good, giving Ash at last and finally the Grand Duke ribbon, only one more, the Monarch ribbon, in order to finally face Diantha once again in a proper fight. It's televised to the whole Kalos region for the world to see. Ash decides to reunite his Kalos team before having the fated match against Halan, as 2 Grand Dukes of Kalos are able to duke it out with each other. This leads for Ash to go to the southern province of Kalos, to the remote far city of Kilut, as he is going to battle with none other than the Battle Chatelaines of the Maison, as well as one trainer by the name of Calum. Calum being the patriarch of the Maison, as well as another former Grand Duke of the town. In the Maison, they are able to train Ash's Pokemon, with Calum training Ash's Greninja, and all of the other Chatelaines being able to train all of the other Ash's Pokemon from the Kalos region. Even Goodra returns from the wetlands here, as the trio of flying types are now going from Professor Oak to here, all of these Pokemon are now great and trained thanks to the Shadow Lanes of the Maison as well as Caleb, and Ash is now going to have his fated rematch against Alain to see if he can finally fight the champion Diantha. However, during his train return to the town, he does go as a passing by to the Pokemon village nearby Snowbell City, where he does re-meet Hazy and he makes sure that the young king is okay. And Hazy does recall about the Pokemon village purpose and seeing how Xerneas had returned to the cocoon form of the tree, and a unique Zygarde with a shiny coloration is making sure that this Pokemon is being well rested. This Zygarde doesn't seem to have any correlation to Z2 or even the Squishy Core. It is its own independent creature, establishing order by making sure that the other two members of the Aura Duo are in their sleep schedules in tandem, or maybe to see if they are not causing destruction. As one rests, the other must be active, and this is where AZ wants to make sure that Yveltal is fine wherever they might be, training Ash for his fight against Alain, and Ash tanks, but he wants to train his other Pokemon too, making sure they are on the level as a former Royal. With this, Ash sends out Tauros, Kingler, and Muk, with AZ sending out his three powerful Pokemon, those being of Torkoal, Sigilyph, and Golurk. This is a great battle, with Ash winning, proving himself as the Grand Duke of Kalos. Now wanting to have a match against Alain, AZ grants him and goes to the train on to the city of Glorier, where the Pokemon building is and where Serena participated on her Masterclass showcase. In the Pokemon League building of Glorious City, we do see Ash and Alain now being the Grand Dukes, and only one of them will have the right to challenge Diantha in the Chateau challenge. Alain does reveal to Ash that because of his accomplishment in the World Coronation Series of being ranked as number 6 for a time, and also because Malva of Team Flare rejected her title as an Elite Four member, that Alain was given one honorary and temporarily. So this will be yet another time where Ash is going to fight a member of the Elite Four, that being none other than his friend and strongest rival in Alain. This is going to be a 6v6 for the ages, as Alain starts out with his powerful Malamar. Malamar does battle Ash's Hawlucha, and it's get easily defeated by the move of X-Scissor, doing quad damage with the bug type. This reveals Alain to show his Weavile, doing massive damage on Hawlucha as a revenge, but this means that Noivern can come into the play and finally defeat Weavile for good and taking the revenge from the Kalos Reek after. However, the situation is now getting extremely dire, as we do see Alain sending out his third Dark-type Pokemon, that being King Gambit. Yes, King Gambit. It seems like his Bisharp has become stronger and evolved during the time, defeating Noivern, and then Ash decides to send out his third flying Pokemon, that being of Talonflame. Talonflame and King Gambit are giving their all, and the match heads in a tie while during the first part of this 6v6, 3 Pokemon down from each party. And the battle continues with Alain sending a familiar face that was once easily defeated by Pikachu, that being of Tyranitar. And Ash decides to send out his pseudo-legendary too, in the name of Goodra. Goodra and Tyranitar are giving their all, with Goodra being able to give the win. However, Tyranitar's Sand Stream is able to buffer damage Goodra and take her down after a long while. But this is where the battle starts to really get interesting, as it seems like Yveltal, the counterpart of Xerneas, the legendary Pokemon, it's a part of Alain's team. Alain cemented himself as a Dark-type Elite Four by showing that none other Pokemon are evil or destructive, and he wants to show this power by using Yveltal in battle. Ash wants to pay in the same coin, and he decides to use his powerful Pokemon too. But it's not Greninja, it's Pikachu. Pikachu is able to go toe-on-toe against this powerful legendary, doing massive electric damage for super effective hits during this flying Pokemon. Oblivion Wing is no match for Pikachu's speed, being able to dodge with all of the Viscerae. And this is where Pikachu is able to go on equal footing to Yveltal, as both Pokemon end in a draw leading the match to not only Ash and his powerful Ash Greninja form, but also to Alain and his powerful new Charizard in Mega Charizard Z. Fire Dark. This Charizard has the cells of Zygarde locked on him. This is very too powerful Pokemon of the Dark type going all out. Fire versus water. And this is where Ash is finally able to get his revenge, get his rematch, get his win, as Ash's Greninja is able to defeat this new form of Charizard. But he's thankful that Alain had found a new resolve and was also able to start from zero, unshackled from the trauma of Lysander. We have a Supreme Grand Duke in our frames as Ash finally gets the Monarch ribbon, and he now has the right to challenge Champion Diantha in a battle for the ages in the Stadium of Lumiose where the league was once held. Ash and Diantha are able to reconnect with each other, and Diantha is able to reveal her team, and she seems like she has some new Pokemon into the fray, primarily having Pangoro, Furfrou, as well as Excelgor. Big, powerful Pokemon who seem intimidating, but they are very friendly, but they are also very innate to the Kalos culture or even to the cinema industry. And this is where Ash decides to basically bring his veterans into the fray, using Pikachu to battle and also bringing his other Pokemon of Charizard, Snorlax, Donphan, Heracross, and Sceptile. Pikachu being his overall ace. Charizard, the Star of Kanto, Snorlax of the Orange Islands, Heracross of Johto, Sceptile of Hoenn, and Donphan of the Battle Frontier. All of these Pokemon are giving their all in a fight. Pikachu is battling Furfrou with a keen eye as Donphan is making their best against Excelgor, while Heracross is having a brawl in Fighting Fist against Pangoro, as well as Snorlax is having an Arctic battle with Aurorus, and the forest match it's between Gourgeist and Sceptile, that leaving Mega Gardevoir into the likes of Mega Charizard Y, with Ash winning and now being received the honor of Kalos, and he has another champion win under his belt, cementing his role as Great Monarch yet again. The crowning ceremony continues days after in Lumiose City, where Ash receives the honor of Kalos. Serena returns and grants him with a kiss, making sure that everything is fine and dandy, and she's also celebrating. Everyone in Lumiose is celebrating, from Diantha to Sycamore as well as from Clement and Bonnie. But this is where AZ shows up, thanking Ash, not wanting another battle with him, but making sure that the title is very well received. And after seeing this gesture of gratitude, we see AZ's Floette returning to him, and we see all of his Pokemon by his side, to which Ash, Serena, and the others are very happy that AZ finally got closure from the traumas of the war. And he does decide to, maybe have a battle with someone someday, and he wants to make sure that the champion is having her role as the queen to the Kalos region, and she wants to make sure that AZ is not a slouch either after all of this time. She does reveal one Pokemon that she didn't use, but she really wanted to, that being of a shiny Keldeo, a young musketeer to the region that is going to protect all ounces in all provinces, that being of Central Coast of the Mountain with an Iron Fist. And this is where our journey ends. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how I would see fit for Pokemon X and Y, the series, having a 4th season, and if they were to implement some ZA content in the future or not. I feel like Ash doing the Battle Chateau challenge would have been an amazing addition, and all of these 55 episodes would have encapsulated the first tier of Alola, that being of Akala, Melee, Misty and Brock, as well as the Nebby arc, all until Cuckoo is ready in a way. I really hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. Make sure to share this video and leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more of these amazing What If Pokemon stories. My name is KuroBlitz, it's been a pleasure, I will see you in the next time.